Welcome back, y'all. I've got a lot of work to do in order to keep this project moving, so I'm trying to keep this one short. Overall, the graph is still consistently moving in the right direction, but we have been seeing some big swings lately. We had 3 events this past weekend, starting off on Friday with PFL semifinals, where everything was looking great with 7.22 units of profit. Immediately after, I had 2 LFA wagers, winning one and losing one for a loss of zero point 0.5 units. That is the first LFA card that V2 has ever lost money on. And then, Saturday afternoon was UFC Baku, one of the strangest cards I've ever watched and likely the largest percentage of my bankroll ever lost on a single card. Azerbaijan ate 11.14% of my bankroll and turned an otherwise good weekend into a 4-unit loss. On the bright side, Saturday also brought our first ever weekly bonus. It was only 0.91 units, but these things can really add up over time and will compound as the bankroll grows. That's all from last week, so let's get into fight predictions for UFC 317. Very quickly, this is the current betting strategy. Always bet the fighter that V2 predicts. If the fighter is an underdog, we'll bet 1 unit. If they're a favorite, we'll bet enough to return 1 unit. If version 1 agrees on the winner, then we'll change 1 unit to 1.5 units. Also, 1 unit is exactly 1% of the starting bankroll on Monday morning. We will be starting off the night with a welterweight fight between Nico Price and Jacoby Smith. The model heavily weights age and record in this fight, both of which seem to favor Smith. He has a 10-0 record with 7 first-round finishes. Price, he's been on a bad run, losing 3 of his last 4, 2 of those by TKO. Both models favor Smith here. Minus 1,800 is stupid expensive, but I'm putting 27.4 units on him. The second fight of the night is a heavyweight matchup between Janata Deniz and Alvin Hines. The current heavyweight model really loves submission wins and hates high KO loss percentage. These two almost certainly push Hines to 56% on V2. We haven't seen debuting fighters do well recently, but I have bet 1 unit on Alvin Hines as a plus 250 underdog. Next up is a middleweight bout between Cedric Dumas and Jackson McVeigh. Dumas is making a pretty quick turn at only 77 days, but McVeigh will be just 15 days out from a win in the PFL. McVeigh is 6-0 with 6 first-round finishes, and Cedric's recent fight was a first-round KO loss. Both models like Jackson McVeigh at 60% or better as a minus 135 favorite, so I wagered 2.03 units on him. Moving down to lightweight, where Terrence McKinney will take on Vyacheslav Borishev. I'm not sure where the model is finding value here. McKinney's 4-inch reach advantage might have a small effect. Add to that a possible experience advantage, and we probably get a 2% edge? I'm just guessing here. We're betting Terrence McKinney as a minus 172 favorite for 2.58 units. The only women's bout on the card takes place at flyweight between Viviane Araujo and Tracy Cortez. Tracy's record is crazy. She's been to 8 straight decisions since 2018. Her only 2 losses came in her first fight and her last fight, with an 11-fight win streak in the middle. All right, enough Tracy glazing. The models say that this one is a coin flip, but I don't know how. Maybe it hates Tracy's long layoff? It doesn't matter. I placed a bet on Cortez at minus 250 for 2.5 units. Up next, Haider Amil will face off against Jose Delgado at featherweight. Jose is on a 6-fight win streak and has finished all 9 of his professional wins. Amil is still undefeated, but he's seen a few split decisions in his career, including his last time out. I'm not surprised that the models are siding with the undefeated fighter here, although it does seem like the age difference is keeping the predictions close to even. Haider Amil as a plus 145 underdog for 1.5 units. To close out the prelims, we'll have Jack Hermanson taking on Gregory Rodriguez at middleweight. What could possibly be keeping V2 so close to 50%? Hermanson is older and coming off of a long layoff. Height and reach contribute very little, and they're split. It has to be something in the record breakdown, possibly Gregory's KO losses. Even being just barely above 50%, it's still enough to bet Rodriguez for 3 units. Opening the main card will be a bantamweight matchup between Peyton Talbot and Felipe Lima. Both of these fighters have just one loss on their record. Talbot suffered a loss in his last fight, while Lima has been perfect since losing his professional debut. This model weights fight records very heavily, and current streak is part of that. I'm surprised that everybody jumped the Talbot train so quickly, but V2 was right there with him. I'm wagering 2 units on Felipe Lima as a minus 200 favorite. Our second of 3 lightweight fights is between Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano. These are 2 of the most experienced fighters in this division, but there aren't a lot of major differences in their records. Dariush is coming back from a very long layoff that followed 2 consecutive TKO losses. Moicano is only slightly favored at the books, but the model has more confidence at nearly 60%. Renato Moicano for 1.16 units. The feature bout sees Brandon Royval face Joshua Van at flyweight. How the hell does V2 have Van at 77%? Age obviously plays a big factor, but a 21-day turnaround couldn't possibly be weighted positively by the model, could it? Royval will be much taller and longer, but still a plus 105 underdog at the books. Neither model thinks those are good enough to win the fight either. I bet on Joshua Van for 1.88 units. Staying in the flyweight division, where Alexandre Pantoja defends his belt against Kai Kara France. Pantoja is looking to follow in Volk's footsteps and break the 35 rule. Given the book odds and the model odds, I'd say it's pretty likely. Other than being a few years younger, there's nothing here that points to Kai having an advantage. Both models are happy with Pantoja as a minus 252 favorite, and I've wagered 3.79 units on it. Finally, in the main event, we get to see Ilia Topuria fight Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title. Version 2 knows that Ilia is moving up from featherweight. It also knows that he fought at lightweight a few years ago. Those add into attributes at the bottom, which makes up for 16% of the decision. Height and reach, where Charles has the advantage, also fall into that category. It seems that the main drivers in this decision are the 7-year age gap and Topuria's undefeated record. Both prediction models strongly favor Ilia Topuria in this fight. He is a minus 450 favorite at the book, so this bet cost me 6.76 units. That's all the fights on this card, so let's move over to the totals. UFC 317 has 12 fights, and version 2 predicts 10 favorites to win with 2 underdogs. Version 1 agrees on 7 of the favorites and 1 of the underdogs. I've risked 55.24% of the bankroll on this card for a potential profit of 18.2 units or a 33% ROI. We do have another PFL card on Friday, so check out the Patreon if you're interested in those predictions. These other promotions are definitely needle movers, as Dana would say, so don't miss out. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and good luck on all of your bets this weekend.